Hello everybody and welcome back to a video from Smack with Cards. Today I'm here again with Nam.
Hello.
Yes, and we are playing against each other again after our previous video, which you guys kind of seemed to like, so let's try again. So this time we are playing Wind Crux Lorraine, or I am, and I am on the left. And on the right side is Nam, and he's playing Fire Luxem Zander, or as we like to call it, Snooze Zander.
So this is actually the second match in a best of three. So we decided on posting this video instead of the first one, because the first game was kind of one-sided, and don't mind me showing a card there. But this is after a sideboarding, after Ifri sideboarded her Morgans in.
Yeah, so I sided in 3 Morgans in my deck, and I got my 3 fairies out, so my dream fairies, because they don't really do anything against this deck. So in the first match, what we noticed was it was kind of one-sided and hard for me, because I'm just slightly not fast enough, I think. So I really need the Morgan.
Yeah. And so you saw me at the start, I glimpsed 3 and I put down 3 cards because I was looking for a Thieving Cut or a Creative Shock, but I didn't see any. So I then just played Disguise Skies and passed it on to you.
And I forced you to go first because I feel like you are then down 2 cards. Well, I am up 2 cards. And then my opening hand was like really bad. I had like 3 squirrels and like 2 hurricane sweeps, and I was like, yeah, let's just go YOLO, let's play all the squirrels, try to smack you for 3 and then pass turn.
Yeah, and of course I did the usual get a floating memory into graveyard, go to level 1. So I was at this point already kind of card deprived. I was hoping to see a Thieving Cut or something to cycle my deck with, but at this point I saw that you already put down 3 squirrels, so I wasn't that threatened, to be honest, but I still had to do something here, so I just put some defenses up and hope for the best.
Yeah, so you did just that, and then I grabbed a ring just to filter my hand a bit because it was just this bad, and I think I draw like a dungeon guide, which is nice, and like the intercept 1/2 dude, which is not that great against your deck, but hey, they're allies, so I could play them. So I end up doing that, I play it to get rid out of my hand. And then, get rid of your defense and smack you for 2. But because I ended up not smacking you for 2 because I was like, hey, maybe you have something that I can intercept there. So I just smacked you for 1. And of course, in the end phase, you fast cured me.
I mean, I could have waited a little bit longer, but I was like, I have my size, the size of my hand wasn't very big at this point, so I was like, yeah, just do it now and put a GCR on the field and hope that I could filter my deck a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel like both we were like, oh, this hand is like trash. We were not doing that well. We were both like, we're gonna lose this at this point. As you can see, I'm still level 0 here because I didn't have any floating memory except for the interceptor there, which I knew you were not gonna kill anytime soon. So I ended up picking the Tithe here, Tithe Proclamation, because your deck draws a lot, right? And it's always also a way to filter my hand more. So do you think like Tithe is a very good pick against your deck, or?
Well, especially in the turns that I want to play, like Creative Shock or the Luxem card that lets me draw 2. It's a quite annoying card to play around. You saw that I didn't go to level 2 the previous turn, and I didn't go to level 2 in this turn either. I still had 2 floating memory, but I knew that you didn't play any raccoons, so I was safe on leaving the floating memory there.
Imagine if I did. That would be good.
Yeah, but at this point, of course, you played the favorable wins here at the end of my turn. But
Yeah, I made a mistake. I was like, oh yeah, shit, I have to play this. And then, of course, casting it away to get level 1, Lorraine. And then I recollect that I'm not sure what I was going to do here. I think it's not that great. I ended up going Dungeon Guide to level 2 because I had a Better Knight in my hand. And I felt like I need to push some damage right now. So how was your point of view right now? What was your point of view?
I was like, I'm not very threatened right now, but I think I had a Dungeon Guide in my hand at this point. But if I were to play a Dungeon Guide right now, I would lose 3 of my Luxem cards, because I think aside from the Dungeon Guide, I had a full Luxem hand here. And I didn't want to lose those cards. And going to level 2 here would mean that I wouldn't be able to get a card from graveyard back, because I didn't play any assassin cards before this.
Okay, so here I did play the Banner Knight. The good thing about Banner Knight is just compared to a Phalanx Captain is that Banner Knight does buff all of your allies, not just the human allies, which is why the squirrels came in quite handy now. And as you can see, I just came like 1 or 2 damage short of pushing you to lethal or pushing you to release your lineage. But yeah, that was just a few damage short, sadly.
Yeah, and at this point I was forced...
Actually 1 damage, I see.
Yeah, I was forced to go to level 2 here, and then I just had to Dungeon Guide here. But maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was actually saving cards to not banish all of my Luxem cards here. Maybe I think I drew a Creative Shock here, possibly. And I think you're going to banish it right here now. So you are going to pick 1 card for me to keep. And I think I banished... 1 Gleaming Cut. And,
yeah, I was happy to see it go.
And 1 Exercise Curses. So it was 1 Luxem card that was very good in this matchup. But yeah, you already had the Tiff in play.
Yes.
So I was kind of happy that I did that. Of course, the 1 damage from the Dungeon Guide here.
Because the squirrels, they are so easy to kill. And they still do 2 damage. So it's kind of logical you pick them to clear my board a little. And then as I only have 3 cards now, so I was like, okay, I want to recollect, I want to draw more cards by getting the bauble on the field. And I think I saw like 3 or 4 Banner Knights in this game. So yeah, here comes the second.
Yeah, at this point I had to kill 1 of the Banner Knights here, or I would have been dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good choice. But yeah, of course you didn't know. I still had 1 more in my hand. So I knew that this was gonna... that it was gonna bounce back sometime. And then, of course, starting to push more damage, trying to force you to lethal. But it's, I think, not enough. You're here at 24, so I make you release, lineage release. You in total heal 4, so you go to 20, which in hindsight was kind of a mistake, right? Because I need to play around the, what's it called, the chalice or something.
Yes.
Yes, so I didn't do that, and I should have probably. And as you can see, again, here I come, like just 2 damage short of pushing you to lethal. So that's actually the squirrel you just killed. So
yeah,
if you didn't do that, I would have killed you here, I think.
Yeah, and you see that I still have the terror thing on the field. It was kind of a big gamble to not use it in your turn, but I was calculating in my head with and the amount of cards that you have.
Yeah.
So what is your opinion on Fire Luxem Zander?
Well, of course you asked me this because you know I have a strong opinion about Fire Luxem Zander. No, I really think it's an annoying deck to play against. I've played a few like store championships and regionals now, and every time I play this deck, it ends up in a draw. And I feel like I don't play very slow, but this deck is just made to be slow, I think. And usually it's either you go 0-2 by winning 2 times, or the Zander goes 0-2 But if you end up like first game Zander wins and then you side your Morgans in and then you are winning, then I feel like this game is just gonna be a draw. I've never had enough time to push a third game, and even when I scoop, right? So the first game we played it all out, but if it was a real competitive game, I would have scooped it, I think, around 15-20 minutes in. And this also happened to me in the store championship. I scooped it at 20, I think even 30 minutes left, but we ended up just playing one more game and it ended up being a draw. So yeah, I get annoyed by playing against this deck a bit.
Yeah, so we are both playing decks where you need to calculate the amount of cards. Of course, in every deck you need to calculate, but especially in these two decks, a mistake is very easily made. And the thing is, I'm, at least not that I've heard, I'm not a very slow player, but even in this deck, I noticed that it takes a while before you can do your stuff. And the thing is, it takes a while for me to be able to kill you.
Yeah.
And
it takes a long while. Like, if I would just play all the games, you know, and I would just not scoop ever, I think a game with Zander takes about 30 minutes-ish, at least, for you to get close to lethal. And that's if I don't disrupt you somehow.
Yeah, and at this point, I think I made a mistake here because I played the Insignia.
You did.
Instead of Luxera's map. I think that could have made a difference in this game here because I don't end up actually using the Insignia. But yeah, I totally agree with you. This deck is slow. And to be honest, in a sense, I think it's a design flaw of the game. That's not something I really say a lot, but in a game where you have best of 3 and you need to play in a adequate tempo, this deck is just something. I would just get annoyed, and not at the player, but me playing against this deck. And luckily, I haven't seen one of those decks yet at either of the regionals or the store championships.
I managed to play against it every single time. And because now I play like Crux Lorraine, right? So this deck is kind of more aggro than, like, for example, Merlin. Because I also played Merlin against this deck. Yeah, then it takes even longer. Because we both need to ramp up until we have like killable solutions. So that takes a while, and sometimes you just know I am going to win, but it will take a while. But you're not gonna scoop a game you're about to win, so that's hard.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Because you know you're going to win unless I do something, and in the long run, I will eventually win, but it might even take up to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Especially if you play cards like a Cover the Plot, you reveal again, you heal again, you deal damage again, depending on what you reveal. And yeah, this is exactly what happens here.
Yeah. So here I'm starting to get a bit worried because I can see you already have 2 Luxem sites in your memory and 4, what's it called?
Lightweaver's
Assault. So I was like, oh, I mean, if you have enough cards, you're gonna blast me to the moon soon. So I was getting worried a bit. And I was like, and I have a lot of cards right now. I think like 7 or 8 in my memory. And I was like, yeah, I just have to go to level 3 and see what I can do here. I knew I had a Pendragon in my memory there. So I was really hoping you would not pick it. I had 1 floating memory, so you only had to pick 2. I grabbed the Sword of Seeking back from my grave. And you ended up picking 2 quite useless cards. Well, maybe the Sailing is okay, but
with the amount of Lightweaver's Assault I had in memory, it wasn't that much of a problem.
Yeah, so here I draw a Crux site, which I was pretty happy about because I was like, okay, if you can clear my Pendragon, I can just get it back next turn. Yeah, so here I put back my sword, which I didn't really need. Draw 2 cards. I think I drew another Pendragon here.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah,
and I think I'm just gonna play it here. I mean, I have to Tithe, so I'm just gonna put back Tithe in my deck because, my board outvalues yours at this point. So I'm like, I need to... Oh no, I end up playing this one. Okay, so I did have another one, but I was really doubting if I had to play it now because I knew you had of course, the Lightweaver's Assault, so I knew you could get rid of them, of the Pendragons. So I think that's why I decided to play it a bit more slowly instead of putting them both on. But I don't know if that's a good decision here.
So you can see that I now put Luxera's map on the field.
Yeah, a bit too late maybe.
A bit too late, yeah, because I actually wanted a what's it called again? The Excalibur sword in my memory, just in case you were going to put the amulet on the field.
Yeah.
And I think here you're counting your cards, and you can see you put the sets of 4 in your hand, and you had like 9 cards. So it was one short, I think. Yeah,
I was one short of going for 16 damage here.
Which would have been lethal. I would have been dead, very dead. I knew, but I also knew you didn't have enough cards to do it. But it was kind of risky because I didn't really know what you had in your hand, right? You could have maybe draw something. But then again, you would have to have your full hand to be able to do this. So I knew I was kind of safe. So that's why I decided to play the amulet now, because I knew this is the point. I'm not safe anymore. And you, what you didn't know was that I was about to draw a Zephyr in hand.
Okay, yeah.
I think I draw it with my Pendragon, because I'm gonna Crux side here.
Yeah, since I didn't have the nullifying lantern on the field yet.
So I'm Crux side. Of course, I get back the Pendragon. I
still draw a card.
I draw from that, and then I draw another Pendragon.
Oh really?
Yeah, I did. I think I had 2 or 3 Pendragons in my hand, and of course I decided to play it here, and I opted to keep the second Pendragon in my hand. And I think now or somewhere. No, I actually draw my 3rd Pendragon.
Oh, wow.
So I end up playing another Pendragon. So I guess this is not the turn, but maybe the next turn I draw the Zephyr. Because actually, yeah. Because I put the amulet back in my deck.
Because
so this was actually really, really risky for me to do.
Yeah, but you also knew that I didn't have 10 cards in hand to be able to play 2 Lightweaver's Assault.
Yeah. And I decided to clear your dungeon guides here. I'm not sure if that was correct, but you were kind of doing annoying stuff with your Lightweaver's Assault by pinging them for 2 and then hitting 1 more.
Yeah.
But maybe this was kind of a waste. I'm not sure. Maybe. But you would have just healed back up anyway. So that really doesn't matter.
Somehow in my brain I was like, maybe she plays a fire card in her deck, and with the prismatic edge it would be maybe deal 3 damage. Somehow I thought that, because it would have been a better choice to play the nullifying lantern here.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah,
but I mean, you still play fire cards, right? So if I got the prismatic,
true.
This would have saved you from a prismatic, I think. But it's kind of it's doubtful, but you can.
I guess. I mean, I was just at this point I was like, I'm just playing not to die right here, because I needed. I could deal a lot of damage, but I knew. I still needed some more cards.
And seeing as you already released, right? So you don't have that safety anymore. It's just 10 damage and you're done. And pushing 10 damage with me having like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 8 cards, I think. 8 or 9 cards. It's not bad. Especially because I knew I still had 2 Pendragons.
So at this point I was like, I need some defenses, so I play the Shield Maid here.
I had 1 more Pendragon. The other one is already in the
game. So...
So I think I picked the amulet again here. Yes.
Yeah.
Because now you had like 1, 2, 3, 6, and you had 9 cards now. So you just had to draw more and more, and you could pull off the combo.
Yeah. So the reason I put the Shield Maid on the field was, of course, it's a line of defense, right? But also I still had an Orb of Choking Fumes in my materialized deck, so I would be able to draw 1 more card, go to 10 after draw, and do a Lightweaver's Assault 2 times.
In general, I think that's a good pick here to try to stop me here, because it actually was kind of hard for me to get rid of it. I think if you didn't play it, I would have maybe already have lethal here. So yeah, I think that's a good one.
Yeah, and the thing is, I had to gamble whether you had the Sapphire here or not because
I'm going to draw it, I think. About somewhere now, I think.
Really?
So I played the Banner Knight first, because I knew I was gonna put my Sword of Seeking back into my deck because I wanted to save the amulet because I knew I was gonna need it next turn probably. So I put the amulet back, and yeah, no, it's a reclaim. So I guess I already have the Zephyr here.
But wait, did you already attack with Lorraine this turn? Why is she tapped?
Yeah, I did. I did. That's why I put the Banner Knight first, so I could get the maximum value out of the Sword of Seeking attack. So I pushed you for 2 damage, and now I'm pushing you 4. And you're just gonna take it. I think you kind of knew I couldn't get lethal in this game. Even though I had a lot of cards on my hand, but I just didn't have enough, sadly.
I mean, you still had a lot of cards on hand. I was like,
Yes. And now comes the best card of all, namely Morgan. I finally saw it. And actually, I only have 2 cards here? 3 cards? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I was like,
2 cards.
You're level 3, so level 1, she cannot take non-attack damage. Level 2, I don't heal. And that was the point I was like, okay, I'm in real trouble now. Because I have a Resolute Stand in my hand. But playing it would mean I would have 1 less card to play my Light Reaver's Assault.
But I think at this point, I was kind of pushing checkmate here because I knew you had to get rid of the Morgan. I knew you didn't have much like non-attack stuff going on. You didn't have a lot of attack going on.
Yeah. So you see here that I have the Excalibur from the Luxeris map because I knew that eventually the amulet would get on the field, but I had to destroy the amulet in your end phase.
Couldn't you just use the Excalibur and Morgan here?
I could have. Actually, I think I could have. But if I were to do that, I wasn't sure whether you had another Morgan in your hand.
I didn't.
That's one thing. And also, if I did do that, I'm still 1 turn away from healing. So if you were to kill me in my next turn, I was like,
Yeah, so here you just pass, which I was puzzled about a bit.
I wasn't sure what to do here, to be honest, because I could have Excalibured the amulet to try to kill you in my own turn or kill the Morgan. But the thing is, either way, you could have Zephyred the amulet, but you could also have Zephyred the Morgan. So
yeah, here it comes. There it is, my faithful Zephyr in hand. Now I kind of feel safe. Because I knew, like, okay, if you're gonna go for my Morgan, I'm just gonna Zephyr my Morgan. If you're gonna go for my amulet, I'm just gonna Zephyr my amulet. And I just knew somehow you were going to do it on my amulet at the end of my turn. So yeah, I think I felt kind of comfy here.
Yeah, so Resolute Stand was my only...
was annoying for me.
Yeah, it was my only way of defense at this point.
For me, at this point, it just feels like stalling this game further.
Yeah, so it was my only way of... It was playing a Resolute Stand here and you not being able to kill me, and I destroy the amulet in your end phase, and then play 2 Light Reaver's Assault in my own turn was my only way of killing you here, because you were going to put allies on the field either way.
Yeah.
And I would have just died with 1 more ally.
Yeah, also because I think you figured at this point you couldn't get rid of my Morgan easily, at least.
No, because I only had 1 Excalibur, so I was thinking, what am I going to do? Am I going to play to maybe win or play not to lose, right? And so that's the reason
so
why...
So here you go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna Zephyr it. And you're like, oh my god. Why?
Yeah, so that sucked, and I was like, what am I going to do here? Okay, playing a Nullifying Lantern.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much, I'm just shooting at you because I can't target Morgan here, and you're just going to pop the amulet here.
Yeah.
Which I think is the correct choice, because otherwise...
I should have popped it earlier, right? Before reveal, I think.
Yeah.
You said that to me.
And I was like...
You were like, it's fine. We both knew this was my line of play. But yeah, so if you're watching this, if you want to pop it like in the when he materializes something. So at this point,
No.
or before reveal.
Before reveal. So
Yeah, but not during reveal,
yeah,
because that doesn't work.
You can't respond to those triggers. So yeah, I'm pretty much like, how am I going to survive this? If you have one more ally in your hand, I'm pretty much dead. So I put another line of defense, I think.
I'm surprised at how many cards I still have at this point. It should be less, but considering I saw three Pendragons.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I'm not sure why I played a dungeon guide here.
I'm also not sure. Was it just to push 1 damage?
I think.
It was just to get cards in your memory, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just to. But I was also puzzled about this because I was okay. Where are you gonna shoot this damage? Because I popped Amulet.
Yeah.
And you can't shoot Morgan with it, so it was kind of a wasteful. But maybe you also didn't have anything else to do. I don't know what your hand was.
I was either way playing around having 10 cards in my hand total. It was just, it doesn't really matter here. And I think I'm just going to play another Shieldmate here.
I think so too, but yeah, maybe I think you already kind of knew this was gonna be one of the last turns.
Yeah.
I mean, if I didn't kill you in the next turn, you would have killed me in your next turn.
Yes, kind of, yeah.
At least I don't know how many cards you have. Oh, you're actually kind of down cards right now. 3,
7, 8.
So you would have gotten.
Yeah, so I had 10
9.
cards and I played 2 cards here.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have been able to kill you
next
actually.
turn, no. So actually,
I think
I think you kind of already lost at this point.
Yeah, so playing the dungeon guide had no real
value.
Nope.
Except for getting cards here, but I think you just shouldn't.
It doesn't matter because I can't heal and
in this case, the best line would have just to be playing the Stalwart Shieldmate, and that's it.
Maybe, but I also I could have put 2 Lightweaver's Assault into memory to play the Shieldmate. But I think I put down more cost because I wanted to be sure that if you put down more allies, I would be able to kill them. Because you now had to kill the Shieldmate and deal 3 damage.
Yeah, so I ended up playing Crux side. I was obviously bummed that you put out the Nullifying Lantern now, because I could have gotten back actually another Pendragon. But yeah, so that I just used it to draw a card because it's now useless, this Crux side. And I really knew I had lethal in my hand. I had a lot of allies. I had a Phalanx Captain. I had like a Savage Slash. I just needed to figure out how I was gonna get rid of the Shieldmate that was standing in the way, and then just deal 3 damage, which with the Savage Slash in hand was kind of easy to do because I already, you know, I had Lorraine with the sword, so combined it would be 3 damage.
So it was kind of funny that I was saying to you, what if I were to have a Resolute Stand in hand here? But,
I was doubting here, like, should I go for it or should I was really thinking about playing Phalanx Captain, which would have cost me 3 in memory because I have 2 humans right now. But then the Savage Slash would have done me the same amount of damage, but it costs 1 less. So that's why I chose to do it.
Yeah,
like
but
this.
also if I did survive this, if I were to able to survive this onslaught of yours, I would have been able to kill the Phalanx Captain with the Lightweaver's Assault that I had in memory. So I think you made the correct choice of not playing the Phalanx Captain here. But either way, I was dead.
Yeah, because now it's 1 and I just need to do 2 damage, which is already a Savage Slash, but I added the sword because, you know, why not? So yeah, that's game. I really was kind of dreading what's it called? Like the staunch, no, not the staunch.
Yeah. So
the Resolute Stand, but you didn't have it.
In this
Luckily.
game, I made a few play mistakes, but you just did too much damage early on. And I was like, yeah. And to be honest, this deck just doesn't feel good at all. Because even if I'm playing it myself, I'm like, man, this deck is kind of boring.
I mean, I think with the Morgan you can do a lot, but without it you're kind of bummed. But yeah, that's it, and thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay happy and see you in the next video. Bye bye.